Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. It's 8 a.m. and we're in the central jury room of the Ralph H. Walton Jr. Justice Center, 1200 West Pearl Street in Granbury, Texas. And first up today, we have the district clerk, Ms. Melanie Graff. Ms. Graff, the floor is yours.
Good morning. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I'm here today just not just as a district clerk of Hood County, but as the advocate for the hardworking individuals who keep our courts running smoothly, my deputy clerks. These clerks are on the front lines every day. They're responsible for managing court filings, preparing and maintaining legal records, assisting the public, and supporting our judges and attorneys, all while ensuring strict compliance with legal deadlines and confidentiality requirements. Their work is detailed, high stakes, and non-negotiable in accuracy. Despite the significance of their roles, 3 of my clerks currently earn just $36,012 annually. That's well below the Texas state average of $43,209 for deputy district clerks, and even further behind our neighboring counties. You'll see on the graphs that I gave you, the handout that I gave you, Erath County starts at $40,000, Johnson County $43,594, Palo Pinto County $50,000, and Parker County $49,128. This means that Hood County is not competitive in attracting or retaining talent. In fact, we are training strong clerks who are then recruited away by counties that pay more, costing us institutional knowledge, increasing turnover, and burdening remaining staff with the gaps that are left behind. This is not just a question of fairness, it's a matter of operational stability. Without a skilled, stable clerk team, the functioning of our courts, and by extension, the public's access to justice is at risk. I'm respectfully asking that we bring our starting salaries closer to market standards. This modest increase will show that Hood County values and supports its staff, and it will pay dividends in efficiency, staff retention, and public service delivery. I'm also not asking for a raise for myself. My office is running efficiently. I'm very pleased with the clerks that I have. I would just simply, everything else as far as my budget goes is running efficiently as well. I'm just simply asking for an increase for my clerks. That's all I have.
You know, this speaks volumes up here. There's no question here that Hood County is a training ground for surrounding counties to train all these good people, and they pay them a little bit more, and then they leave. And so,
yes, and I cannot. I mean, I have the best clerks. I can't speak more highly of them. They're great. We have a great team, and I would really like to retain them. So, are there any questions for me?
Anybody have anything? No.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next, CPS, Celia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
Hi.
My name's Linda Durant. I'm the vice president of this board. We need to apologize that Tammy's not here. She's out of town for a family funeral. And so we're here to represent CPS. This is Celia Whitman. We serve on the Hood County Protective Service Board. This was established through a contract between the Commissioners Court statewide and DFPS for assisting and identifying and meeting the needs of children in CPS care. Our board is an active board of 11 members that does more than attend to our fiduciary responsibilities. We advocate for the children, and we help work together with other organizations in the community to get the children what they need. Tammy and I serve on the state Region 3 Advisory Board that helps keep us up to date with other current presidents and boards, additional funding and resources, and legislative changes or pending legislation. Tammy is currently the president of that board, and she recently presented before the State Legislation Committee regarding the needs of kinship families and changes needed to the foster care boards. I'm going to let Celia continue.
Yeah, and I want to clarify, well, we both want to clarify that we are not CPS. We are not in charge of CPS, that's the state, and we don't have any access to the cases or the investigation of the children. That's taken care of by the investigators and the caseworkers, because the privacy of the children and the families are of utmost importance. Our board's primarily a fiduciary responsibility for the funds that Hood County provides to help take care of those children as part of the agreement, just like 253 other counties here in Texas have a board similar to ours. The children in care are managed by two sides. They're managed by the Child Protective Services, which handles the investigations and the removals and works closely with the courts. And then the private side, which they moved what we know as case workers, they're called them permanency specialists at our community, our kids, and those people are in charge of putting the children into care, monitoring their daily activities, the foster care, handling the supervised visitations between the actual birth parents, and they used to work for the state, but now they kind of split off. Obviously, it's cost effective more that way. The funds that are requested from us, because we take care of the funds that you provide us, and then we fulfill fund requests from the needs of the children that are brought to us by the investigators and the permanency specialists. The 2024-2025 approval amount was $20,000, and the majority of that is used to obtain clothing, remedy any kind of Medicaid issues, and we're asking for the same this year. Uses for this request are part of the agreement with the state, as Linda mentioned, by all the counties in the state. The funds help pay for items that the state decides must be paid for by local counties. This includes court-ordered UA and K2 drug testing, alcohol testing, family conference meeting supplies, acknowledgement of paternity fees, clothing allowance for all the children in care, to include initial and annual clothing allowance. And the initial clothing allowance is very important because a lot of these children are removed with very little. So it's important for them to be able, and we work with the Rainbow Room. The Rainbow Room has all the little kids, but there's a lot of teenage kids in care. In fact, most recently, we had a child that we had to emergency supply clothing for because they were in the hospital. The parent got into an accident with the two children, and the bigger boy, 13 years old, had no clothes to leave the hospital with. So we were able to help with that because, like I said, Rainbow Room doesn't have the bigger kids. And also annual maintenance and administrative fees for Kindred Portal, which is very minimal. That portal is being used to help connect the caseworkers, the foster parents with needs that they can access besides just coming to Rainbow Room and the board, including medical issues. Prior to 2015, we also received an average of $3,000 to $4,000 of jury fund donations, but this has decreased as more people are participating in the pool of the jury funds. In conclusion, we feel that we'll be able to meet the demand with the funds you have already provided us, and we ask that you continue to provide us with the $20,000. We're not asking for more. We just ask that you, help us to continue to support the children. I do want to say that there is a Cash for Kids side, which we also are part of, and that is the fundraising side. And that's where we reach out to the community if they want to make any donations, and that takes care of some other things that the board can't pay for, and that is a 501c3. Thank you. Yes, and we thank you very much for all that you have done to help us.
stopgap for a lot of kids.
It is. It's important to remember also that the cost of everything has increased, so that clothing allowance doesn't go as far as it used to, so we really appreciate that $20,000.
Good deal.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Thank
Now,
you.
where is this in our notebook? Do we have this?
On the screen.
I see that. I'm just wondering if it was in our notebook. Okay.
Paper in mine.
Yeah, so you guys just have what everyone sent us.
And normally, we don't send anything because we're from Hood County, so
Yeah.
we're just a line item.
Okay.
We'll get together and then I'll send out a proposed budget that has all the things and then y'all can tweak it.
Submitted a letter to the judge's office.
Normally, no. I mean, like I said, we're a line item in the county's budget. So we have never submitted, I mean, I've been on the board for 17 years now. We have never submitted a letter. It was just always part of the budget and part of the allotment because it's an agreement between you and the state. So we're serving at your pleasure.
I think when we had the requirement for 501c3s to submit their 990, you guys were not part of that because
Well, because you don't
you're-
contribute to the 501c3.
Right.
The board is the board and only county's money. There is no commingling of money.
Right.
We
I was
just do
just
that.
clarifying
And then the
that.
501c3, that's the one where we raise the community.
That's why I was clarifying why you didn't do that, because
Right.
you weren't part of it.
But yeah, we're not, but for your
501(c)(3).
purposes, it's not a 501c3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Margaret Carnar, Biloxi River Children's Advocacy. Good morning.
Thank you, Judge Massengill and the county commissioners for allowing me to come speak with you again. This, boy, that's loud, isn't it? And y'all are early. I am so glad I got here before my time. No, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I know I sent a packet to each one of you, and I'm just giving you another copy of the letter. And Sheriff Deeds is also handing out our newsletter. We've started sending one out. And wanted to give you a little bit of information you might not know about us because I've shared a lot. And one of the things that I got challenged with last year that I wanted to share was how do we positively impact the community? How do we benefit the community? What is that cost-benefit analysis? And I had to do a lot of research because certainly I don't want to consider a success if the number of children that are sexually abused goes up. We want to prevent those. So we looked at what it would cost, the difference with a child who is sexually or physically abused if he does not get treated, and the long-term impact on a community. And it was very significant. We were looking at lifetime costs of huge amounts of money with education, ability to get a job, the justice system, and it went on, and being able to do that, and then looking at what we're providing for a child that they have the opportunity to tell their story, they have the opportunity to receive justice, give them some hope and healing, and we stay with them for the lifetime of the child. We do not charge for any of those services. We do receive funds through the state and the federal government. People will question that sometimes, but there's a huge chunk that they are not going to pay for, anything indirect. And that is what I come to you for, the amount of money that I've asked for each year. That helps us provide that warm, friendly environment for them, that place, those things that they need that are not covered by grants. You're not paying for personnel, you're not paying for fringe, but what we are asking is to support the overall structure of what we're providing to the community. And it felt like that would be, and I can certainly send you a copy of that report if you wanted. It was lengthy, but it was a challenge, but we were able to show it more as what it would cost the community if you did not have a child advocacy center. They're nationwide, we're growing, the cost of everything's going up, as you know. you just talked about with Child Welfare Board, just to have a fundraiser now, the expenses are outrageous. And so it's become very challenging. So we write a lot of grants, a lot of foundations. I ask for your support, the city's support, and just kind of wanted to give you that little snapshot. Sheriff Deeds has been on our board since 2009, 12, a long time. And so he might have something to add to that, but I appreciate the support of our community partners, which would be the sheriff's, DA's office, CPS. We work with the juvenile justice system. We work with the schools. Our partners that bring the children to a CPS and law enforcement, we work very closely with them to make sure that we're reaching those kiddos that need those services. And on the flip side, we're going to try and prevent everything we can by being out in the community every day, trying to train and educate children so they know something's not okay. Do you have anything you would like to add to that before I open it for questions?
You covered it.
Okay, I covered it. Do y'all have any questions for me?
That speaker that y'all had last year where she was abused as a child and when she went there.
Jenna Quinn.
You should have had her speak before the auction.
I-
Instead of after the auction, but she was fabulous. I
She
mean,
is
really, really.
We're
was.
hoping to find someone as dynamic for this next year. Boy, it's hard to beat her. She really set the bar, but she is an actual survivor and a successful, was in the CAC system.
It started her own deal. I mean, and what happened to her as a child, being molested by a close family friend and stuff like that, it was amazing. Amazing. And the work that y'all do with the DAs and how many children y'all have helped is just, it's just amazing.
I have a really committed, passionate staff, and
Really.
we have to come up with ways to kind of take care of them. Sometimes it's hard, some of the stories, and they're getting more complicated. And, you know, just even reading about some of the cases you might see on social media or in the paper barely touches the surface of some of those cases that we see. They're very, very sad. And when you see a child that's been starved or, you know, it's tough. It's a hard job, but they all have to be trained. They have to go through lots and lots of training and learning how to deal with that kind of trauma, and then also being able to provide the kind of care and services these kids need.
You do a great job.
Well, thank you. I
Sheriff
really
is the
appreciate your
president.
support.
Are you the president this year?
Yes.
I mean, really, you do an excellent job.
Well, thank
I
you.
wish we could give you more than 20,000, really. I mean, for the good that they do, but.
Well,
So-
we'll always appreciate that. But
How's the new building coming?
we are waiting on permits. We finally have, we had to do a traffic study, and that took some time. TxDOT required us to do it because the property is on Highway 4, and they were concerned about people coming in and speed and stuff. So that has all been put together with the plans and all the things I've learned more about building than I ever thought I would know. But I designed it, and now I'm just hopeful that we will be able to break ground by September. You know, now it's all back kind of in the planning department's hands and getting those permits. And once we're able to put the shovel in the ground, I'm told it will move very quickly. It's just all those extra little things I wasn't aware we were going to have to take care of. So that's been a challenge and interesting, but
This is how I feel about it. Here's mine and Brenda's.
you're so sweet. Thank you.
I got to run and get my coffee. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, I'll just keep visiting.
You know, I'm on.
Thank you, Judge Massengill. No, I appreciate the support, and we're excited about the building. The property's been deeded to us. We're raising money through foundations and grants, and the community's been very supportive. We've raised over half the money that we need. And I got a call while I was in Costa Rica last week. We got a $250,000 grant from a foundation that I was told I could not get money from. So that was a real exciting accomplishment. So we do feel like we'll continue to raise it in that way. And of course, that's money I can't use for operational at all. But we're excited. Maybe this time next year we'll have a building and y'all can come check it out. And it'll be nice to have a permanent home for the kiddos. We're in 3 suites and we've made it work, but $100,000 a year on rent, and it's going up in July. We're just throwing money away, and that was kind of the incentive to try and find something that we could do and be permanent. So we're excited. We'll benefit the community. We'll be close to all our partners, and yeah, we're really excited. So it just takes too long.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. Any other questions for me? Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I will comment that nobody's stopping the judge for writing them a check for more. So. If you find it, I will. All right.
Thank you.
Should we just go ahead? Commissioner Eagle?
Sleep. Okay. Commission on the Senior Center. I see Miss Trish back here, so come on up.
Sheriff's a busy guy today. He happens to be our board president, as you know.
Here he is. Here he is.
All right. Judge, county commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you today. I appreciate that you allow us to come and ask you and request for additional funding for our causes. I work with Margaret as well. I presented you with binders as I did last year, and the request that I have again this year is $75,000. We have a lot going on, as you probably know. Some of you, before I begin, to those of you who have come to the Senior Center recently, I really do appreciate it. If you come and you see what's going on, you understand the struggle that we face and the people that we serve. And I would always encourage you to come and drive a Meals on Wheels route. It is life-changing. Some of those folks, they're the only person that we see every day, and they have no choice but to stay at home. They are homebound, isolated, and they need our help. So my request, again, is $75,000. As you probably noted in the letter that I offered you, we did lose funding this year. Our contract remains as it was, but we typically receive carryover funding. And I know that's partially from COVID, but for years now, the center has relied on carryover funding, and the government has seen fit not to grant all of that this year. So we are struggling right now to make ends meet. We are doing okay, but we have had to implement a waiting list. I now have about 50 people on my waiting list, and we already do not serve enough of our seniors in the county of Hood. So if you have any questions of me, you probably have all gone through my presentation. I'm here to answer questions, and Sheriff can answer questions as well.
There's no question that you need the money. It's really y'all run a good argument. The food is great there, really. And the senior citizens are really happy. Have you eaten there? I'm going to take you there. It's real. I'm going to take you there. The food
Our cooks take pride in what they do.
Yeah, they really, really do. You can buy a meal there, and it's the best bargain in town, really. And food is great. People are really happy there. Even Congressman Williams at the election.
He did, yes, during March for Meals.
Happy birthday to me.
He did.
Like he sang in the House of Representatives. The senior citizens picked up on it real quick, too. He said, I'm going to sing happy birthday. Chris said, Congressman, it's Judge Massengill's birthday today. And he says, oh, great. Well, I'm going to sing you the happy birthday song that we sing for all the members.
It was the shortest birthday song I've ever heard in my life. It was great.
Here's your happy birthday song. Happy birthday. And everybody started clapping. Anyway.
An event this Thursday night? Is it this Thursday?
Are you talking about my fundraiser? That's actually, we have a dance every Thursday night. That's just open to our seniors. I'm calling it the street dance. It's actually inside because it's bloody hot in Texas in June. But it will be on Saturday, June 28th.
Okay, it's coming up.
Yes, ma'am. So please feel free to join us. I think it would be a lot of fun. We do have a food truck that will be out there. So it's $35, and every bit of the proceeds will go to our meal programs.
Might know one of the musicians.
You might. Ron Rhodes Band will be playing. They're really good. They do come and play for us on Thursday nights as well.
You do a great job up there, too.
Thank you, sir.
And the previous Janet before that, have a good history of doing everything.
Well, we've been doing this, not us, but the center's been around for almost 50 years now. So they've got it figured out. We've got it figured out. I will, to add on to what Margaret was saying about children in this community, I will add on that we actually have more than 200 children in Hood County that are being raised by grandparents and great-grandparents. And those folks are impoverished mostly. So funding is essential. Being able to reach those people and feed those people will help them alleviate some of their finances to also help their children and grandchildren.
And I'll tell you one thing, if you're really feeling depressed and sorry about your state in life, go up and deliver Meals on Wheels one
Correct.
day. Just do that for one day, and you'll come back and be very thankful for your position in life.
And we've typically have been the lifeline as well. We've had several of our drivers call 911 to ensure that they get emergent care.
Sometimes that's the only people that these poor people have.
Correct.
And it's horrible.
It is.
To see something.
And we're not reaching enough of them.
Yeah. Good.
Does anybody have any questions for me?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Good deal.
Sheriff, would you like to add anything?
No, you covered it.
Okay.
I guess I didn't say anything before, but yeah, I'm on the CAC board, so I take care of the kids and got to take care of the old people because I am one. And so, and the judge covered it too with everything he was saying about the Meals on Wheels. And the drivers are the only people they get to see probably all day. And sometimes it's almost too late and they call for help and get an ambulance out there and take care of those people. And it's a great program, and please help keep it going.
Yeah, really. That's really sad. Like I said, if you feel depressed, deliver Meals on Meals, you'll be very thankful.
And they're thankful for the contact as well.
Good. It's unfortunate that there's so many people like that. I know that. But anyway, that's why I say take care of the people here in the United States first, Anyway, thanks. All right. Thank you, Trish.
Yes, sir.
did
Thank
a
you.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. I guess the transit system, are they coming? Historic Commission, the Con Valley, we just appraisal district. I guess we're ahead of everything.
Capital?
Another lady that was supposed to attend and, due to a medical issue this morning, cannot. Their request, to benefit Toys for Tots. They're planning a interlocal tribal powwow on August the 23rd, of this year. At Salon El Rancho on the Saturday. This will be open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And to help fund that, benefit Toys for Tots, they are a 501c3. They're requesting $5,000. For that. There'll be Indian dancers and vendors and different things there for all day, it's a full family event, no alcohol, no drugs, and they're, like I say, they're requesting, possibly $5,000 to benefit Toys for Tots. No, that's at the Salon El Rancho out on Toller Highway, just, to do that. Last year they had one over in Glen Rose area and well attended, and again to benefit Toys for Tots, for Christmas. Appreciate consideration for that.
Historical Commission, Pecan Valley. Is Coke still the head of Pecan Valley? Is he retired?
Tired. Mhm. Mhm. We could do the commissioners. Any changes?
Commissioners, county judge.
I don't have any changes.
Auditors. Yeah, go ahead, let's do the commissioners.
1 and 2 said no changes. Three and 4.
4's good.
Jack, do you want any changes on our budget, commissioner budget? Okay.
1, 2, 3, and 4 are all good.
On my budget, the only thing that we had is that, what was the
probate judge
the
thing,
what?
the probate judge thing.
Yeah. We have to have,
Is going to be an ongoing,
well, and it's more expensive now too on the thing. We haven't had that many. Most of the lawyers will let me go ahead and hear it since I have a law degree, but anyway, we do need the increase. That's the only thing that we've asked for, right?
On this page.
I don't see mine. I don't,
that was a recent development, the probate judge. County Court 4040 is, so right now it's 8,000. We need to increase it to what? How many court hearings do you think they're going to have?
Public assistance is in the back of the county judge there, Dave.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I was like, I was pretty sure I saw that in here somewhere. I just couldn't find that.
about the, where is it?
The probate judge is under special judge 4040, 41320.
It has 8,000, but you think it needs to change to what?
Well, it depends on this particular case. I mean, I'm not sure how many sessions they've had, but their bill was $2,000 for just one, it seems. And if there's multiple, I guess they're hearings or meetings, whatever, it's going to get expensive.
Filing cabinet we need for the filing cabinet we need,
Okay.
and best chairs in pieces, $1,400. But,
You want to
That's it.
increase supplies to 200?
you know, that needs to be increased, because we never get the chair, and had been one there in 15 years.
Supplies increased to 200, and then special judge, you don't know.
Yeah.
Increase will be in it.
What do you think? How many hearings is this? For that probate?
Yeah, that's just special probate.
How many,
Well, you never know. They just ask for it when they have the right under the law to ask for a special probate judge. You know, And so when they do that, they used to ask for them quite a bit, but like I said, I'll handle it and all the lawyers let me do it. There's just a couple that we've had that we had to get a special probate judge in. And that's why you never can predict that. But no, it's not enough.
Our run rate for this year so far?
Well, we have one invoice in this particular case, and it was about $2,000. And so if that tells us anything, every time they meet, it's going to be $2,000. So we're going to deplete that pretty quickly.
You just don't know. Yeah. Right. Have to put something in there.
What do you want to make it? 14,000? Okay. Is that what you want?
That's on the other one. That's on your county judge. Yeah.
Oh, that's under county judge. Oh, I see. So I misunderstood. Okay. We can talk about my budget if you want to. The only thing that I'm doing this year that's different is now we have Patrick. And we need to get, this current budget cycle, we've foregone some traveling to allow for him to do what he needs to do. But in the upcoming year, it seems that every time we are requesting a grant or going down the grant process and we are actually make it to the consideration round, they want to hear from us in person. And so he's having to travel to these different grantors and, present our requests in person. And so that's definitely changing our travel budget a little bit. Of course, the district judge is fine with it, but I wanted to share that with y'all. He said to budget around 4 trips, which most of them are local. So it's somewhere around $2,500 for his travel. And then he wants to join, it's called like the Grant Association or something like that. And it's like $150 or something like that. So those are the 2 new things that I would like to add for consideration in our budget. And we're also, I'm going to plug a little, we're going to have a grant training so that we can all be better informed about the process of applying for a grant, what that looks like, where we pick up, where you guys help us, and how it all kind of partners together to achieve the goal of, successful grants. And so hopefully you guys can make some time. There's 2 trainings currently available, and hopefully you guys can make some time to come check that out. I think it'll help. A lot of times we have these excellent, amazing ideas, and then, what do we do now? Like, oh, I saw this, I want this, how do we get there? And so hopefully it will help lay that foundation and pavement towards the goal. And
when is this going to be? Yeah, that's definitely something I need. I've been chewing on an idea and I don't know how to get it off the ground. I don't know where to go from here.
So the end of July, I sent out an email yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot going on this week.
Yeah.
So I sent out an email yesterday, and you can always email Patrick or myself. He's really come a long way. He's been here in a very short period of time, but he has jumped in and really made a lot of traction in the whole grant process. And hopefully we can continue to provide that transparency and share the shared mission with everyone, how to get there and what we can do and how we can work together to achieve the goal. So it should be pretty good. not too in the weeds, pretty high level enough to get, everyone excited about it. And then, you guys can ask as many questions and we can just continue to better the process as we go. I know I didn't realize that every time that we made it to the second step where, oh, we're interested in this grant, then we send them, hey, we're interested in this grant. Then they're like, oh, we'll come share your story. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes complete sense. But I never realized that that was part of the process, right? So it's just been really interesting to have his help in understanding and learning and just driving the bus. And I think he's doing a great job. He was also pretty fun to talk to, so.
Does he take his own vehicle?
Well, if he's traveling somewhere, we pay mileage, or he can use a pool vehicle, which I don't recommend for Arlington traffic.
Discuss that pool vehicle. Is Glenn on that one? All right.
That would be Glenn, yeah. So that's a whole nother ball of wax.
I didn't know if that was in the
Before we get-
capital request.
Yeah, before we get off audit, you said that dues, books, and subscription was going up 150, but it says 600. So is there something else?
Oh, yeah. I want to join the GFOA. Sorry, I forgot that part. Thank you. No. The government officer has to do with the special certifications that you can get for great financials.
Government Financial Officers Association?
That sounds right. There's so many acronyms out there. But anyway, that's one step in submitting for that financial excellence. And I was reviewing our records with the whole county court at law research. And I saw that at one point we were actually, our financials were a part of that excellence in reporting. It was the person before Stan. So we have done it. We can do it. I want to do it again. But part of it, you have to have the membership, and then you have to do all this background work, and our outside auditors have to partner with us. So I'm making steps in that direction. And that one's $595. So it's based on county size, population size.
It was how much, sorry?
$595.
Okay.
I can send you the breakdowns.
$595?
Mm-hmm.
Then is that gonna,
So it gives
and then
you
$150 for,
his grant deal.
but that's more than 600.
Maybe I need to up it. These were all recent things. I'm like, hey, we're doing the budget, so if you have any requests, and then, we share all these things, so.
Okay. All right, thanks.
This is more? Oh, no, that's more. There are other associations that were already, I'll give you the breakdown. I'll send it to you. I don't think did I up the travel?
1,000.
So I need to up that too. It's harder to look at that way. Anyway. Yeah, that's good. I think the travel's good. 2,200 should be fine.
You're doing a great job. I think everybody really recognizes that you really. This is only your second budget, and you're doing really a great job. You've got a great staff. I think everybody in the county, all departments, I haven't heard any complaints about you at all, and I tell Judge Buffkin every time I get the opportunity, he made a good decision, and he tapped you for this job, and you really do. And you're fair and honest and hardworking for everybody.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Really, I think everybody agrees with that statement. So, okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Admin.
So our advertising cost has gone up a little bit this year with the RFPs. We have to advertise those. This next quarter, you'll see a budget adjustment from contingency for about $3,000. So maybe we need to up that about $3,000. It kind of fluctuates. Most of the time, it's just ads in the paper for when we have all our budgets and all the things that we have to post. But this year, we've had quite a few of those open bids and all, is that right, the bid process? Yeah, we have to publish those in the paper, so. I mean, it's not anything crazy. I think the contingency amount this year is serving us well because, there's lots of things that keep coming up and it feels like we need to keep that there. We should probably also, once we get the fees for HCAD, review those because we're running short in certain areas for the HCAD fees, but that's just a budgetary issue. It's not, I wouldn't say it's anything significant. Melissa touched on the workers' compensation changes. Those probably need to be looked at across the board because the library pays their own workers' comp, their different fund, road ops, and then the Citizens Collection Center pays their people out of their fund. So, a couple housekeeping things, but I don't foresee anything major with that general admin.
Our contract renewal for the external auditors, is that changing?
So that is a 5-year deal and they renew every year. I have not heard that that's going to change. It did from KML to PVH.
I got it.
It did
Okay.
change.
Thank you.
They're a little more expensive, but I think we have enough to cover it. I'll look at that again. That's a good question.
Any other questions of our auditor? If not, I see that we got the transit system here. Dee Dee and Emma, y'all want to come on up? Good morning.
Good morning. And thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dorinda Long. I'm the general manager at the transit system.
Hold
Where
the
we,
microphone in front of you right there, so that, yeah.
Better?
Go ahead, just, yeah. there you
Better?
go. Yeah, a lot better.
Okay. I'm Dorinda Long. I represent the transit system as the general manager, where we believe public transportation isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. We've all had a moment when we needed a ride, whether it was a taxi from the airport or an Uber to an event. At TTS, we provide the same level of service, but with a mission to make it accessible to everyone at a subsidized fare. With your support through the matching grant, we have the chance to expand the mission to reach more people more efficiently and more affordably. This is more than funding. It is an investment in mobility, equity, and opportunity. So let's work together to ensure that no one is left behind simply because they can't afford a ride. Let's fund and match and move our community forward together. Ms. Emma Hassey is my administrative assistant. She oversees all of my operations as well, and I'm going to allow her to speak as well.
I have a slight speech. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. It's that time of year again when the transit system formally submits our annual grant request to Hood County. Let me begin by expressing our sincere appreciation for the steadfast support you've shown us over the years. Your continued investment has been critical in helping us fulfill our mission to provide safe, reliable, and accessible public transportation to the residents of Hood County. Today, we respectfully request a grant of $40,000 for the upcoming fiscal year. This is not merely a number on paper. It is a foundational piece of the puzzle that allows us to serve our community. This local funding acts as a required match for state and federal grants. Without it, we are simply unable to unlock those funding streams, streams that are vital to maintaining and growing our services. Currently, state and federal grants cover less than half of our total operating costs. To fill that gap, we've worked tirelessly to cultivate meaningful partnerships with nursing homes, committees on aging, the North Texas Council of Governments, veteran transportation programs, state agencies, and even local sponsors through vehicle advertising. These partnerships are invaluable, but they are the only part of the equation, Local support remains the cornerstone of our ability to continue operations. We at the transit system take pride in our responsibility, one we've carried over 30 years, to serve the people of Hood County. Our riders rely on us, not just for convenience, but for their health, livelihood, and independence. We transport individuals to essential destinations, medical appointments, grocery stores, pharmacies, work, airports, and social events. For many, we are their only means of transportation. Without our service, access to life-saving treatments like dialysis, chemotherapy, or radiation would simply not be possible. The value of our work isn't just measured in miles driven, but in dignity preserved, in freedom restored, and the daily relief of knowing someone will be there to get you where you need to go. We recently received a couple of heartfelt letters from our riders. I'd like to begin by reading them aloud. Following that, you'll hear directly from another rider and one of our drivers. They'll share personal stories about what the transit system means to them, and by extension, what it means to the community that depends on us every single day. One of the letters, her name is Sheila Ham, and she lives on Valley Ridge Drive. My name is Sheila Ham Gregory, and my family and I really need and depend on the transit system. Since we don't have our own transportation, they take my son back and forth to work Monday through Friday every week and transport my 85-year-old mother with her wheelchair to all of her doctor's appointments. They're our only transportation, and we depend on them. And then another one, her name is Sharon Gross.
Who lives in Toller.
Who lives in Toller. I rely on the transit to pick me up and return me 3 days a week for my dialysis treatments, which is located in Granbury. I have no other resource to take me other than the transit system. It is affordable for me and flexible. If not for the transit system, I would not make much needed appointments. I appreciate everything that they do and what they do for others, as I have met many people on the transit that were also going to appointments to other places, and they also expressed to me how much they appreciate this transit system. It is vital for the livelihood of many seniors and disabled people in Hood County. I am unable to walk at all and am in a wheelchair. Sincerely, Sharon Gross. And then behind me, I have a rider and a driver who will also like to speak on behalf of the transit system.
Sure, please come on up. State your name into the microphone.
Okay. My name is Brenda Reed, and I depend on transit to get to doctor's appointments, lab appointments. I just recovered from a blood disorder, a known blood disorder. Finally recovered. And I have used the transit to come to jury duty here in February. I have a grocery cart, a trolley I call it, that folds up and fits under the cart at the grocery store. And I bring my bags and I go grocery shopping and pack my own bags and pack the trolley. And I'm able to do my grocery shopping instead of having to have it delivered. The other benefit, I think, that the transit has to the community is that you have these drivers who like to race and cause problems, but when they see one of these transits, they calm down. So it's a benefit to the community in that way. I think that's all I have.
What precinct do you live in?
I live in historic Granbury off of Morgan, just up this, a couple blocks up here. I don't know what district that is.
It's one of us.
Are you east or west of Morgan Street? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Glad you came up here and testified.
And I know that funding is locked up. It's frozen because Trump fired all these people and everything. And I know you guys are going to do do your best.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Phil Groeschel. I have been involved in our community for years on the board of Visit Granbury and the Cultural Arts Commission and the Arts Alliance. But when I heard about, I'm retired, when I heard about this job that they might hire part-timers to drive, you know, all over Hood County, I thought at last I can get away from subbing, where I was in the high school in a dark-ish room, and I freedom for me. What I found was a freedom that I didn't expect, the opportunity to really connect with people who need the service that I'm helping provide. And that has become a really serious mission for me. That's what keeps me there. It's just pretty amazing to have somebody, almost every week, somebody will say a version of, if it weren't for the transit, I couldn't go to the doctor, or I couldn't go to treatment, or I couldn't get to my job. There's one lady who has a foot that was injured permanently, and her husband always drove her to work, and his hours changed at work, and she no longer had a way to get there, except for the transit. So there are many stories like that. If you could hear everyone, Brenda included, and many other people, they would testify to the importance of this service being provided in Hood County and Somerville. Thanks.
Thank you for coming up and sharing your story. I want to say one thing here before we come back, is that I'm on the transit board that we meet quarterly, and heard Dorinda just a couple of weeks ago, I guess it's been 2 weeks ago. And Emma speak about this. And so I asked her to compile a list of the times that the transit system is called upon in Hood County. And I got the sheriff's department to look at, and based upon the addresses, y'all go to a certain address, to divide up according to precinct how many customers of the transit system there were in 2024. And the only thing that I was disappointed in is that Dee Dee at this regional transportation meeting said that there are occasionally, or many times, or numerous times, that the transit system may be called to the same address more than once on a day. This list is just per day, one visit per day. It would be a lot more if we could break it down, but she said it's a stack of receipts about that big for each driver, and the software doesn't allow them to come back. But what she's done is given me a list of how many times the transit system has come into each precinct in Hood County. So in precinct 1, 177 customers used the transit system last year. Precinct 2, 199 customers. Precinct 3, 183 customers. Precinct 4, 175 customers. But let me ask you, ma'am, have you ever used the transit system more than once on a single day?
Yes,
How many times?
maybe once a month.
Is that because when you go to the doctor, the driver, does he wait until you see the doctor, or do you take another driver back to your home?
When I go to the lab, they wait for me. When I go to the doctor, it's a different time because I don't know how long it's going to take at the doctor.
So you have to use it twice then?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so see, that's one example there. So it's pretty evenly distributed through the county here, and I didn't have time. I was waiting, hopefully, to get the information just to show how many times the transit system came to each precinct. But here I do have it, and I don't have copies because I didn't find out that news until late yesterday afternoon. I didn't have it. But here it is, and I'll give it to the commissioners. It's pretty evenly broken out here, but your precinct wins. Precinct 2 wins with 199 people, but here it is. This is really an important thing for the people here in Hood County. I had no idea, but then I didn't know, really, I've been on the board, that if you wanted to, they'll go to the airport. It's a lot cheaper. I use Get, but I think that's $200 or $250 one way.
It's $45 on the transit for 4 people.
$45.
As a subsidized fare.
See, so $45 there. Or you can rent them and you can go to Fort Worth, take a bunch of your friends and go to Fort Worth and pay the time, let them stay there while you eat dinner or whatever. You can imbibe in adult beverages and don't worry about running into one of Sheriff Deed's deputies coming back and have a real expensive dinner. But you can do that too, can't you?
We do events regularly for the city of Granbury, where there are new employees and they take them to different areas, and they take our bus with their new employees and take them around places in Granbury that new employees need to be aware of. And I think they pay $1.50 a stop per person.
What was the time frame of that list?
Last year.
Oh, a year, okay.
Oh, year.
And something else to remember is
Average per day, the number of times you visit those precincts?
Well, our data isn't collected into precinct, which I will try to ask our software person to add that to our client profile so that we could pull reports on that. But the transit system averages about 450 riders a day.
So that's average daily? I just don't.
Every day.
Okay.
See, what this doesn't do, what I was hoping, and it's just not y'all's fault, it's just the software system, but you know, for every address, how many times they go there per day?
Well, I did email your secretary a list that compiled those addresses, and I'm pretty sure it was a pretty stack like that. Was the only way we could generate that information, and it'll show you how many times in a year we went to that address.
All right. So see, it's going to be a lot more than that. But this transit system is very, very important to everybody's constituents in your precinct. They rely on this a lot. Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to say that I also take the transit to the food bank at Lakeside Baptist Church, and they are now sharing the transit information with the people who come to the food bank. So I think more and more people might use it to come to the food bank.
No, I'm telling you, this is a very, very valuable service. Well, it's an indispensable service to a lot of people in Hood County. It really, really is. And we need to give them, we really need to, and we cut this last year. It used to, we were giving them $30,000 a year, and we reduced it to $20,000. We need to make up that shortfall. Somehow or another, I'm looking at you, Ms. Matlock here. My position is we need to give them at least $40,000 to make up for the 20 we cut them last year because of the deficiency that we're having. And this is tremendous to these people here. These people here in Hood County, they're like you, ma'am. What would you do if you didn't have the transit system? It'd be tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, and you can see it's evenly divided among the precincts here, that every precinct really depends upon this service. So I'm asking us to really look together to see if we can pull together and make up for the 10,000 we cut this system last year and really do this. So we understand what it is, and I think it's with the services that we've got up here, I'm going to start using the transit system even more than that. And I'm a tipper too. I like to tip the drivers. You're gonna like that. You ever get a tip?
Gratuity's not allowed.
I like you said, I don't really accept tips like that. You know, if somebody stuffed $100 bill in your pocket, you wouldn't take it out and throw it on the ground though, would you?
Well, if I knew that it was there,
I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying, this is something that everybody can use. It's really important. You know that we take it serious. Y'all do a great job. If y'all do what their drivers are and what other drivers are being, this gentleman here is saying it's helped him a lot, and I really like your attitude. Attitude's very important. I hope a lot of other drivers have your attitude. I think they do. Dee Dee's only been with the transit system for only 30 years. She started in kindergarten working for it, but she's had every position you can have, including driver. I don't know that you were never a mechanic, were you?
No, but over the years, I've learned how to decipher some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's done everything, and she does a superb job, and her staff does too. They really, really do a great job. So we're really cognizant. It's really come home to this so that no commissioner can say, well, y'all don't really, my people don't really use the transit system. This proves that they're wrong. And I really would like your software people to have a deal as to how many times per day, and let us have it for the end of next year, where it'll be a more comprehensive report as to how many trips were made into every precinct
Okay, I will.
in Hood County. It needs to be the same way in Somerville County too, you know, to let everybody know. But this is really important, folks. I mean, we really do. So thank y'all very much. Keep up the good work. And I'll see, you got anything else you need to say?
I think Emma had a close, and I would just like to add that funding financially is important to our funding sources through TxDOT, but the fact that the community wants this service is just as important.
Exactly, exactly. Okay.
I'm just going to wrap up real quick. Their voices illustrate what statistics cannot, the human impact of accessible transportation, and they underscore why your support is so vital, not just financially, but symbolically. When our partners at TxDOT evaluate funding priorities, they look for visible local commitment. Your support sends a clear message that Hood County believes in taking care of its people and values the role public transit plays in doing just that. On behalf of everyone at the transit system, our staff, our riders, and the community we serve, I respectfully ask for your continued support in the form of a $40,000 matching grant. It's more than funding, it's an investment in health, access, and the independence of our neighbors who need us most. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all did a good job.
Thank you
very much. Be safe on your way back to Glenbury.
Yes, we will.
Thank y'all for coming down, both you, ma'am, and the driver there, and thank you for what you do. That's great. I'm glad you like it. Who's next? Where? Historical Commission. Is that you, Miss Massey?
That's me.
Well,
Historic.
you're this
I've only been in the county 51 years, so.
only 51 years,
Well,
but
that's
you
when I
came
married
from
you.
Electra.
Yes.
I want to announce to everybody that that Miss Massey was the queen of the Texas rodeo.
In 1971, not
19
1871. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say like 1981 or something. And she was a beauty, and Mike Massey saw her at TCU, and of course lassoed her right quick. And so the Queen of Electra, Texas, is going to speak to us about the Historical Commission. Yes, ma'am.
I'm currently the president for the Historical Commission of this county. I've been on it for about 20 years. This past year, we have done no new historical markers. None have been proposed. We have one that is fixing to be proposed. And the way the state handles things, it won't be done during this fiscal year, probably. Maybe it would, maybe it won't, because Austin is, you know how Austin is.
Long time.
Yeah.
Classes.
But the charges for historical markers, if someone brings the request for a historical marker, we look at it, we propose it to Austin. If the person or group that is proposing a historical marker can afford their own marker, that's exactly how we've handled it in the past. If they cannot, then it comes from the money that we are given by the county. Each year, the markers go up. So you don't really know what you're going to need. And this past year, of course, we had $2,500. So far, we haven't spent any of it. But next year, we will spend some money because it'll be 250 years past the 1776 when this all started. So I know that you have $2,500 up there on the marker. We're asking that you increase it to $5,000. What we don't spend comes back to the county. And we are as tight with the money for the Historical Commission as we are our own money. So if we don't spend it for some historical purpose, it comes back to the county because we know it comes out of tax money.
So the one she's talking about is the Nubbins Ridge Cemetery.
Yes.
That's recently been discovered that it's a historical cemetery, and the folks out there want to have it designated as such. So
Yes.
How much does that, do you know what the historical marker, what the cost is?
I have not looked into how much an historical marker comes this current year or the next year, because the state people in Austin, they are very good about covering their own costs.
Okay. I was just, if it's in the
Yeah, and it depends
thousands, or if
how
it's in the
big the
hundreds of
marker is, or how you place it, or where you place it. So
When's the last one? Do you know when the last one was that we placed?
a black marker in this town?
Do you know how much it was?
No. Okay. I think it was around 2,400, but
Okay. I'm just thinking if, it could be something that if the folks out there decide they can't cover it, that if it's that amount, we could probably find it in contingency or something.
come back and beg for money? Okay.
That's an idea, anyway.
But with the 250th
Yep.
shindig
Yes.
next year, I'm sure we'll be doing something. We have new members on the Historical Commission, and they are very want to
Active.
do. The ones of us who've been on there for several years are the ones that want to hang on to the money unless we need to. So we'll get along, and we'll find a way to use the money correctly to help the historic emphasis in this county. Because it's not just Granbury. It's the county.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the city has their own historical commission, don't they?
I'm sorry?
Doesn't the city itself have its own historical commission?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have a question?
Job.
Thank you.
So, y'all all do. Y'all decorated up. I'm just glad y'all finally got rid of the old Santa Claus. He was getting a little yellow, and so I appreciate that. I got tired of looking at him as I went by every day. But y'all do a great job. You really do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Ruben De Hoyos from Pecan Valley. Come on up here.
Yes, sir. Just want to, this is my first time here, so I just want to meet everyone and introduce myself. I'm Ruben De Hoyos. I'm the new executive director for Pecan Valley Centers. As you all may know, Coke Beatty, our previous executive director, retired in May. So my first official day was June 1st. Although
Wow,
I've been...
So you're 17 days in?
17 days in, and I'm already here. But I have been with Pecan Valley Center since 2001, back when Dr. Malloy hired me. And she hired me out of Tarrant County, actually. So I worked for Tarrant County MHMR and Denton County MHMR and Helen Farabee Center MHMR. So I go back 41 years in this industry. But I've been with Pecan Valley Centers for the last 24 years and really enjoyed it in different capacities. So look forward to coming to these meetings more frequently. Just want to first off say thank you for the contributions for the local funds that y'all give to Pecan Valley. It really does help a lot. And of course, as you know, we serve 6 counties total, but Hood County continues to grow. And we are serving up to over 800 individuals, and that includes adults and children. So, but we're not here to ask for any additional money. We just want to say thank you for the money and contribution that we are getting. And also to thank our board members, Christy Massey and Ed Selheimer. They've been terrific and wonderful to our board and to our agency and serving on the board. So that's really it. And let's see if I have any questions for me.
You got big shoes to fill. Did they
I
tell
do.
you that everywhere you go?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, he's good. I'm sure you're going to do a good job.
Well, I appreciate it.
Ed and Christy will help you out a lot.
Yeah.
I know that. So,
Yeah.
And Coke gave a lot longer speeches, I'm going to say. He was.
I hear, that's what I hear. The board members told me the same thing.
He may just be the leader now, but he has done an excellent job in the years prior.
Thank you.
And MHMR has done a very good job covering the folks in this county and the other counties that need it, whether or not they are regular citizens or whether they're staying in the jail.
Well, the sheriff,
They've done
I
a
know
good
he
job.
likes what they do here, and here they are a big help to you, aren't they, Sheriff?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, huge help.
Yeah.
Up there. So so you're doing a great job. We want to help you as much as we can. And this guy right here, you and he,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure y'all communicate
We do
daily,
frequently.
don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, the working relation has grown so much in my time as sheriff. We had some rough times there 15, 16 years ago, but we've got together working on projects with their staff. We moved them into an office a few years ago. I can't remember how many years, it's been a while back, for the MCOT team. And so they have people in there Monday through Friday, and I guess they even come up on the weekends sometimes. And they work very close with my mental health people. So we've streamlined a lot of stuff. We've got, just here recently, electronic mental health warrants. And so we got a great working relation. And I'm still on the board too, so.
Yeah.
Appreciate those kind words. Yeah, we do everything we can to help out the law enforcement individuals. And yeah, we're up to almost 4,000 individuals we're serving across all 6 counties in all capacities, and we continue to get new programs on a regular basis. We just opened up a youth crisis respite program in Weatherford. So it's been about 6 months now that we've got it up and going, but it's running well. So
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate
Call on us if we can help you in any way, because we want a good working relationship with y'all, that's for sure.
Definitely. Will do.
Good. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. That shorter speech, you're already up a notch.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you. I'll keep it about this distance.
Yeah, the Coke would be about 30, 45 minutes. So, yeah.
Nobody here for the appraisal district, nobody here for the Acton Nature Center. Now we got a 15-minute break. Capital improvements, you want to go into that? Yes, let's go into, and then that's the last for today. Capital improvements, let's go. You ready, Miss Auditor?
So do you want me to share what people have shared with me?
Yes.
Okay. So Road and Bridge has shared some requests. And I know the sheriff has some also. Glenn, do you have capital requests? Maybe Glenn, while I get prepared for that.
Okay, Glenn, you want to come on up here?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. So even though they're actually technically part of road ops, we've been managing the county's pool of vehicles for employees that don't have a county vehicle. We currently have a 2008 pickup with 168,000 miles and a 2012 Tahoe with 140,000. And those work fine around the county and close by. But I've been getting more and more requests from departments who want a vehicle to go to conference or to go to meetings that are a little further away. And I'm not comfortable sending those vehicles out. So I just wanted you all to consider the pros and cons of, purchasing a small SUV for $25,000 to $35,000. And that way, it would help the employees get to these places that they need to go. There are other options. I know they've been starting to rent vehicles to go on these trips, or a lot of them take their own vehicles even though they really don't want to. And additionally, it would make a nice backup for the mail vehicle, which is getting older as well, needs repairs now and then. So anyway, I just wanted to put that before you to consider the pros and cons of doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Option of a certified pre-owned that would be less expensive, or?
Well, I was looking at some used vehicles, and generally for about 5,000 less, you get something with 80 to 100,000 miles on it. I wasn't, in my mind, I didn't find anything that I could really rationalize as being a better deal.
It seems like COVID has skewed the used car market. I didn't know if that had recovered any, because there for a while, it was, it's $5,000 difference. So it's still kind of that way.
But as we found earlier, there are some pretty good new car deals out there. Yeah. So that's why the range is so wide. If we can find a good deal, maybe get something in the $25,000 range. That would work, but it's up to y'all. It's we end up paying for it through different methods. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I have had a lot of requests lately.
Yeah, and I've I know talking to people, there in my office, there have been some rentals that they've taken to conferences, and I know TAC sometimes takes multiple people, and to have a little small SUV would probably be a beneficial kind of thing. So.
Cost would be around what?
Well, 25 to 35, if we can find a sale, 25, it depends what the market's doing later in the year. So I know it's quite kind of a wide range, but, find the best deal I can. If you also decide. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You've been really busy lately.
Yeah.
We've got, I guess, a meeting on Friday again about the lease vehicles and all that, so I know we really haven't got anything set in stone with that, but we need to continue to think about the vehicles and keeping them going and keeping, my patrol guys especially in the best vehicles we can get. Talking to Denise a little bit ago, if we could, those different parts with talking to the auditor in the past, and we get some good cars for the investigators and all of that, they would last a long time because they don't put a lot of hard miles on them. But the patrol guys, then they're running those things all the time and sometimes pretty hard trying to get to a call. So maybe lease the patrol vehicles and just buy the others outright or something. But I know we still got a lot of stuff to talk about with that. The animal control vehicles, we're looking at needing to replace the boxes on the back. And does this have the cost? Oh, yeah. So we need to replace those, and that's in the booklets that I gave to you yesterday. Those get a lot of hard use with dogs, and every day they're getting loaded up and unloaded and bouncing down the road. The one company that we've got quotes from is Deerskin. And they're a good quality box. We've used those in the past, so ask that we can look at getting those. And another thing they've looked at this year is getting air conditioning units, because those animals, when they're in the back, especially when it's 100 and some odd degrees outside, then it's even hotter in those boxes. So we'd like to start getting them with the air conditioning units. And I don't know why we didn't really think about that in the past, but so the quote for this was $32,832. And then any questions about that?
Any?
How many? Was this just for one or two? I think it's for two. Yeah, two.
Oh,
two of them for that cost.
Okay.
I was looking where it said it.
I don't see where it says.
That's probably just one at that price.
Yeah.
That's probably just one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just one.
Yeah, that's just one.
Okay. So $32,832 for one unit. So we need to start replacing those, and so it'd be good if we can get a couple of units.
So the price on this gold page is 34. Is that because it's including the AC?
I'm not sure why we had a different price there.
Well, it says AC compartment, so I'm guessing that the reason it's more than 32 is because it includes AC.
Yeah, we were looking at the AC units separate to try to add those to what we got, so.
Maybe that was just a high estimate. Okay, so, but you need times two. Right.
So, and then the rest of it is the vehicles. So I know there's still a lot more to talk about with that. Do you want to talk about the mixture of the purchases? So,
I'm just available. I think we've sat through, 6 or 7 maybe now of the meetings that we've done, and kind of taken everything together. To me, and I think Stephanie and I have talked about this too, and if I say anything out of place, just please correct me. But after evaluating everything, it seems like the better way to go is maybe a half and half, and looking at maybe a rental for the rental for the patrol vehicles, because the costs have gotten so high with the ballistic glass and the equipment. Eventually, we would like to be able to switch those over to newer vehicles, but because we have grown, thank you very much, we haven't been able to use those vehicles also. But what also I have learned is that when we take those vehicles off patrol, that's what's costing a lot of our maintenance issues, because like the sheriff said, we
it's not like driving Mrs. Daisy. They drive those vehicles hard, and they have to leave them running. We try as much as we can to turn them off, but the carbon builds up, and they're just not good cars to send to other departments for that reason. And so I did a couple of different requests. One request of funding it ourselves with 12 vehicles, and then a request of maybe doing the 8 patrol vehicles with some type of rental, however that looks to y'all, and then maybe replacing 10 of the older vehicles, the Tahoes that are breaking down, with a more economical for CID, maybe a Chevy Traverse that will get better gas mileage and brand new and be more cost effective for us. So that's kind of my take on sitting through all these meetings. The reason I would probably look at also going towards a lease for the patrol vehicles is because pretty much everyone we talk to, there's that base where they can sell it, where we can't, and that income could go back into our vehicles. And I think we're like every 4 years having to replace those. So
did you get an apples to apples on this American National? You know, we brought them in too for the lease. Have you gotten a workup from them?
no, sir, not them. We have Sewell coming Friday I've provided all the information. We have something provided from Enterprise, thank you. I just went blank. Enterprise, and then I don't think they've sent us a final for the one in Wichita Falls.
Yes.
Yes, sir. No, we haven't gotten a final from them. So
But you've sent them requests?
Yes, I've sent everything that they've asked for. Yes, sir.
The last thing I saw from them was, I think, spread out over 3 years. 15, 15, 15, spread out over 3 years, but it seemed like their interest rate was really
There
high.
was, yes, ma'am.
The
That
interest
part
rate
of
was like 7% or something like that, which,
Yes.
I mean, we could do better ourselves.
I think that was just a financing thing is what they were offering. It didn't come with the additional services that Sewell and Enterprise with the resale and, market timing and all the stuff that they were incorporating into their program. So
Enterprise, they said they'd work with whoever we want them to work with, and the rest was just a financing thing. But Sewell sounded best so far with they could be the one-stop shop where they would upfit those patrol vehicles themselves, and they're local. They're Fort Worth and all. But they seem like they had the best all-around, we'll take care of you type thing. So.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the vehicles would stay in our name too with Sewell. Was that correct? Yeah, with Enterprise, they would be in their names. So.
Yeah, I think.
Government pricing?
That's what they're coming back Friday. The man that was working on it, Reed, he's from Florida, and he actually is going to fly in for the meeting Friday. So.
I can tell you, I'm not crazy about Enterprise.
Yes, sir.
There's too many. There's too many contracts, and we've gotten some negative feedback from other counties, or I have. So, and you've looked at Sewell too? Because I didn't look at that one.
No, sir, because actually, Commissioner Andrews has started it, and I invited Commissioner Samuelson to come Friday. I know with the restrictions, we're only allowed to offer it to 2, but we can have the meeting again, and I can have 2 more if you'd like, so that everybody gets a chance to.
Right now,
is it 2 o'clock or something?
It's 2 o'clock Friday.
So that would get us 72 hours, right?
And that would mean everybody could come to the meeting?
Yeah,
Friday?
I mean, I don't know if anybody else would even be available, but if they
2 o'clock
are,
Friday?
then
No, sir.
2 o'clock Friday?
2 o'clock Friday? Not sold, okay.
Now we can try to line up a second meeting then sometime.
He set up a Teams meeting, so could he do that?
Yes,
Could he do that next week for the other 2 or 3 if they want?
We could sure ask him. I sure can. So I know it's important for y'all to all hear
what is being offered. And I feel like it's very important. We started this process to help save money and also to help us get vehicles that we need. So I think it is important.
Yeah.
And again, publicly and for the record, Denise, I think you do an excellent job. You do a great job at keeping track of things, keeping the maintenance done on
Really, 'cause
everything.
the word is you're
And
trying to
this
get rid
is-
of me.
Yeah, this is in no way an attempt to get rid of you. That is.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
So,
that.
no,
You
that,
do.
yeah.
You always get all any information that I ever ask for you. You
Thank you. I
get it
try.
very-
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has anything to add on that, but that's kind of, after going back to all these meetings and the bar graphs and just looking at the overall picture, it really just makes more sense. I gave one example. We have a 2020 Chevrolet, brand new, went to CID, one of the very few that we did that way. And I went back 2 years and we spent, maintenance-wise is only $800 on that vehicle. And I think it was like 2 oil changes and maybe a set of tires. And then, I mean, we've spent thousands of dollars on these Tahoes that have come from patrol to CID because I've had nothing to replace them. So we've replaced, I think, 6 transmissions, 2 motors now. And you're looking at $6,000 to $8,000 when we do that. So, I mean, it's kind of where I've came to my conclusion of maybe doing the half and half. If we could do 12 to 15 vehicles per year, we figured in 4 years we'd have a whole new fleet. Correct? Okay. Stephanie's been helping with numbers. She's much better than I am.
And the safety aspect of it, too.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. But I'll work on that. Friday, if you want to do a Teams, we'll try to do another meeting. I'll get with y'all on some days that would do work for y'all.
Yeah, I think it was Midland County that recommended Sewell, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, Midland County
Was
reached
it?
out to us
Okay.
and said that they've been using Sewell for quite a while. So,
I have not heard any negative feedback on Sewell. I as well heard negative, I think, from Stephanie and from Glenn, from their contacts too. So, and the contracts and the billing was some issues too. So,
yeah, Enterprise seemed like a very complex agreement.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hard to get out of if you wanted to.
Okay. Any questions? Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
all
you.
you've done for us over the years, and the Axon contract, thank you so much. So, but we need more all the time, so sorry.
Yes, I appreciate everything y'all do as well. Thank you.
Be sure to take your little verbose.
We have a 5-minute clock.
Okay.
Well, Ron
Are
Becker's
you
not
in
here, so-
tandem with Jeff Young here, or are you independent? With him?
Yes, sir. Here for support, and if you have any questions.
Okay, well, we have no questions of you, okay? Jeff?
That's a big statement of vulnerability saying he's here with me.
Come on. No, I'm kidding. You do a good job, Matt. You, that ISO 2, that's pretty big, buddy. Okay, go ahead.
Judge, Commissioners, so I was here to answer any questions over the sheets that I gave you last night, if you had any. I know it's a lot.
I'm still in sticker shock.
I as well.
The only thing I would say is that the morale of the volunteer fire departments here in Hood County is truly amazing. I mean, it's truly amazing. And if you had to pay the firemen like they have in so many other communities, this would be a pittance compared to paid personnel on the thing. That's usually 80% of the budget. So we owe it to these volunteer firefighters to give them the very best equipment we possibly can. Air packs, the helmets, the gear that they use, the trucks that they drive. We owe it to these people and to the people of Hood County to give them the very best. because they do a heck of a job. And not only does it do that, there's their safety and the safety of the Hood County citizens, but the morale that it builds up on the thing to have the right equipment and stuff. So they don't have to, and I like that the one guy says, we would like to be out there training and doing what we're supposed to be doing rather than having fish fries to try to supplement our budget out here. And I totally agree with that. So, I mean,
I wouldn't totally discourage those events because I can tell you as a chief of one of the departments for years, it really is more of a community event
well,
than it is a
I'll come from
fundraiser.
Mill Campo, Texas, and I'm gonna tell you what, we did a fish fry, oyster fry and stuff like that. We raised a ton of money
Right.
for our volunteer fire. Everybody likes to come out to a volunteer fire department deal, pancake dip. We always go there. I mean, that's a community deal. Everybody understands they could be next.
Right.
So.
Well, and it gives the community an opportunity to meet the people who are coming to
Right.
serve
And
them
to thank
outside of a
them,
time
too.
of crisis.
Thank them, yes.
And it is a team building deal for the fire departments as well.
Yes.
To be able to put those things together. They're good things for sure. So
I wouldn't discourage
part
those
of-
events for sure.
Yeah, it's
but-
part of the culture. It's like, this is a community culture thing that I think it's great.
It's good. We're gonna try to do everything we can, I think, really, to give y'all everything we possibly can do.
One thing I do want to add, you may have noticed that there are a couple of engines on there. We still have an opportunity to add on to the current order that we have and keep that place in line.
And you could just add it to the tax note, I guess, that we have. Does it make that much difference as far as paying? You know,
you can add it to the financing, but if you want to self.
do a new one?
Yeah, we'd have to do a new one.
Yeah,
So-
you can't, yeah, that's not included, but you could finance this 8.8.
Well, I know you could. That's always a possibility. Of course, we got new things that are coming up, Wolf Hollow, that goes away. We got other stuff coming in to the county.
We're gonna pay off the Crescent bypass pretty soon.
That's another, what is that, $1.2 million a year? 1.1?
Next year, but
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So
but we have 2 payments left on that? Okay. I was thinking it was 1, but, okay.
There's one on the truck
We'll probably
side.
have 3. 2, okay. Tax note will be paid off too.
Is that a new Life Pack 15 for $17,000?
Which
Don?
I believe it is.
Man, somebody used one year and a half ago for $26,000. So that was for a used one. So I
What did
guess
you
has the price come down? Is that what you're saying? Oh.
Well, and so here's one caveat that I want to point out on that. So after our meeting the other day, I asked each of the chiefs to go get quotes on the things that they asked for over and above air packs and whatever. If you look at Pecan Plantation's Life Pack Monitor quote, there's a 16,230. If you go back a page to De Cordova's, you'll notice they have a Life Pack Monitor quote on there for 19,669.
Okay.
So I think if we get all of this approved, we'll look at doing a bulk pricing and bid them out and all that stuff and get the best price we can. But I don't know if the difference is where they asked for their quote from, or if it's a different
If it's the
model. if they have
cables and
more-
accessories,
Yeah,
it could be that, too,
And it could
so-
very well be that.
Yeah.
So I can speak for the air packs, the bottles, the masks, the portable radios, thermal imagers. I got the quote on those. And even the thermal imager, I just went with, I didn't go with the top of the line because apparently the top of the line thermal imager, you're pushing $5,000, $6,000. Of course, they have some now that will mount inside your mask that gives you a heads-up display inside the mask that's a thermal imager, and those are ridiculously expensive. And the bad part about that is everybody on the truck then has to have one in their mask.
I
Or
don't
is
know
it-
if this is a typo or not, but on De Cordova's Life Pack, it says there's 2, but then they've got 19 and 19, so it's either,
You are correct. I apparently didn't get the math right on the spreadsheet.
so it's,
They did in fact request 2.
okay, so is
So
it
that should be-
19 per, or is 19
Yes.
the total?
It's 19 per.
So that's like 40,000.
You look perplexed. I'm looking at the wheel spinning over there.
I don't think they're ready to come out of my mouth yet. We'll think on it.
Give you a minute?
So, yeah. No. But give me a couple of days. I think there's questions here, but I'll think on them.
Well, keep in mind, so one of the reasons why they may have requested 2 is we're about to break ground on that
No,
second
it's not
station.
about that. It's,
Okay.
yeah, it's inventory and all that other stuff that's involved with where do we want to set a bar of, here's money, go buy your own thermal imager, or this is a county item that we have to keep track of. And that's a conversation I need to kind of have with Glenn at some point and see.
Well, so I can
You-
tell you with the packs and bottles and all that stuff, we already have all of those in inventory now.
Right.
If we split that up, then we're going to be out there trying to
Yeah,
figure out
that's-
which is which.
Right. That's probably not where, I was just thinking thermal imagers. That's, is there a better way to do that than for us to go out and make a capital purchase on that and have to track inventory and all that stuff? So that's, like I said, I probably shouldn't have even said this out loud. It's just going in here that can be a conversation I have with you and Glenn.
Yeah,
here.
oh no. Well, I mean, it's better to get it out in the open. Because with the ticks, the number of ticks that we're ordering, I don't know if we're going to end up getting any kind of volume discount if we order them all together. And so, not that I have $8 million in my pocket, but my goal is if we approve this, I'm going to spend it like it's my money. I'm going to look for the best deal I can get for the best value that we can get out of it. So is it going to be a $1,200 tick? I don't know. There may be better options. Keep in mind, these are all quotes that I threw together since, what was that, last Thursday, whatever day that was. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was kind of like drinking with a water hose last week, with a fire hose, rather. Yeah, really.
I love spreadsheets, so this is great.
Apparently, I don't like them so much because I screw up on the math equations, but.
That's why we like it. We can catch your errors so quickly.
Right. Well, if you look at the second to last page, Margaret pointed out I've got some spelling errors in there too, so.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm refubing.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Campbell, do you have anything to say?
Sure.
I figured that. Yeah.
Yes, I gave you my spreadsheet yesterday during our first budget hearing, but I just wanted to go over the 4 items that we would like to request for this coming budget. The first one is the Crescent Tower. We've had a lot of discussions about needing an additional tower in Crescent for radio communications. The way I came up with that number is I looked at, if you remember, during the first tranche of ARPA money, the court allocated a portion of that money to go to the radio project. And that went to upgrading the tower at the peak and then constructing the Diamond A tower. And so what we did is we went back and we looked at all of the numbers from that to get us a pretty good estimate. And we talked with them and we added a 20% cost because it's been 3 years now. And that's how we came up with the number for the Crescent Tower. We're looking at possibly getting the land secured and trying to move forward and make it the most cost effective as possible. But I just kind of wanted you to have that on your radar.
This may be a little too minutia. I know the Diamond A was, 375 feet now. Crescent being significantly higher in elevation, would we need that tall of a tower, or?
We may not. The conversation that we've had with Sean and dispatch is that it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, because we could allow, if the court would be willing, we could allow Parker County and Johnson County to put, and maybe even Tarrant County, to put some of their equipment on that tower, which would cut the costs down. But if it was tall enough, then it could be a benefit to them as well. So it's kind of a give and take.
Okay, that's
The other thing we have on here is radio additions. We talked about that yesterday as well, but we're asking for 3 new consoles. One of the consoles will go in dispatch, and then 2 of the new consoles will go in the radio room in the EOC. When dispatch upgraded their office, we did not upgrade those 2 consoles. And so those need to be updated. And then I also included the additional costs of the ongoing maintenance for the VFD radios that they're requesting, or that Jeff is requesting. Let's see. AED additions, the county pays or provides AEDs in all of the patrol vehicles, sheriff's office vehicles, and fire marshal vehicles. And $15,000 should get us 9 new AEDs. That should cover the new, the vehicles that don't have them now, and then the new vehicles that the sheriff may need. And then the last.
And that's all contracted. We lease all those. We don't own them. They rotate them out when they go bad. Need
Yeah,
batteries
so
and that
we
stuff,
purchase the AEDs, and then we have a maintenance contract that comes in and replaces them, checks the batteries, and then they send us a loaner one when they go and refurbish the ones that have been used.
Gotcha.
And they're great. They're typically out the next day to come in and do it, and they come monthly to check the ones in all the facilities. But I think we currently have 44 AEDs, and this $15,000 would get us an additional 8 or 9, which is what we would need to finish out the vehicles that don't have them.
Are the fire graded mics in here somewhere?
That's in Jeff's
request.
yeah.
Yes, the fire rated hotel mics for each one of them. Now, not all departments wanted the fire rated hotel mics. So in our conversation the other day, like Granbury said, they didn't necessarily care to get the fire rated hotel mics, because those are having issues also. It's got a water membrane built in them. And in order to get those serviced, they're going to take all of the radios out of service to send those in. So they can only send like 2 or 3 at a time. So I know with Massachusetts, when they get all the bugs worked out, then they're going to look at them.
Right.
Some of the departments were wanting to take a week to give them a shot. Others are saying, mics we have been working fine. So some of them have them on there, some of them do not.
Ought to consider that and do a beta test. Get a few and see if they work.
If nothing else, I thought if we order the radios, I would order those with the fire rated hotel mics, and then have somebody feel like they can replace all the other ones with the fire rated ones. Like I said, some of them have already asked for it, some of them did not.
A bunch of those guys with a white hat that don't really need one of those fire rated that.
The last thing I have is $200,000 for, and I have it titled a secondary EOC at Texas EMS. But, Texas EMS is building 3 new fire stations, EMS combo stations. And one of them is going to be on the Acton side of town. It's outside of the 10-mile EPZ for our planning purposes. And Texas EMS is willing to allow us to basically do an EOC in a box. That way we can turn the meeting room or the conference room into a secondary EOC should something happen and our primary EOC is unusable. I can think of countless times that would have been beneficial in the past since I've been here. And so I don't know what it is going to cost. I can't imagine it would go over that number, but I wanted to go ahead and put it on your radar. They're getting ready to start construction on that facility, and I think it would be wise to do it all at once instead of trying to go back and find space for it.
And I think I got a text yesterday that said that they have actually secured that property and signed the paperwork and everything. With these 3 stations, the last thing that I thought was going to be the great big problem was securing the property. So I think that we are finally crossing those hurdles, and 2 of those are locked in now, and the 3rd one we're trying to figure out if it's got a spring under it. So hopefully turning some dirt on that. I'm very excited about that.
I am too,
That's
yeah.
been a long time coming. I had a lot of hard work going into this, and
Yes, it is.
excited about that. So.
Have some groundbreaking ceremonies coming up.
Should be exciting. I listed outdoor warning sirens on here. I'm not asking for any money for outdoor warning sirens this budget cycle. I should have put a 0 there. Really what I want to do is point it out to you guys. Comanche Peak over the past couple of years has been moving towards taking the outdoor warning sirens out of their emergency plans and going to IPAWs instead. At some point in the future when that time comes and all of the FEMA and NRC people are happy and they say that, yes, you're good to move the sirens out, the county's going to have the option to continue with outdoor warning sirens that the county maintains and takes care of and sounds, or moving away from them as well. Currently, they're only in the 10 miles, so it's like the bottom third, bottom half of the county, which means we have cities like Crescent and Lipan that don't have outdoor warning sirens. I just kind of wanted to put it on your radar because it's going to be up to the court at some point in the next couple of years to make a decision, probably the next year, as to how you want to move forward with that.
And what are they replacing it with?
IPAWs, Integrated Public Alert Warning System. It's a phone. It's a
You know, it's kind of funny because here recently, Lipan's been kind of in the crosshairs of a couple of tornadoes, and I'm sitting in the room at the house, and I don't know if a siren would have been louder than everybody's phones going off at one time saying, you know, tornado come and seek shelter.
Well,
and I think maybe I hesitate to say this, but I think maybe we're moving towards getting past the outdoor warning siren or whatever, and I think the mobile answer is a pretty effective.
It is, and you know, we've done a lot of research on it. A lot of the nuclear facilities across the nation are moving to IPAWs instead of outdoor warning sirens, but then we've done a lot of research on it just in the state of Texas. A lot of cities have outdoor warning sirens. A lot of counties, most counties don't. And so we're kind of in a unique situation because as a county, we have citizens that are used to having outdoor warning sirens. But the key word there is outdoor. So you're not going to hear them when you're laying in the bed at night trying to go to sleep or watching the TV in your living room. You need to be outside. If the court wanted to keep them, my recommendation would be to relocate them to areas around the lake, areas that are parks where we have a lot of people that are outside, maybe have one in Lipan, one in Crescent, in our major cities, and then leave it kind of at that. That's a big if you guys want to even keep it. But mostly I just wanted it to be on your radar. That way you know it's coming, and it's not going to be a cheap answer if you decide to keep them. But
Well, and Lipan had one, and it is broken, and they are in discussions.
Yes.
Do we replace that, or, you know? and
we've
I
had a
think
lot
that
of
it's kind
discussions with them, and they're expensive, and
Yeah.
the maintenance on them is expensive. Finding a contractor who can do maintenance on them is not easy. So I know that that's been kind of high on their priority list recently.
Well, and I guess the cultural shift is, everybody's phones are going off, but they're on, well, it must be okay because the siren hadn't gone off yet. Well, guess what? You may go ahead and head to the tornado shelter because the siren's not going to go off. But I think there's a cultural shift in there that we need to deal with. But I think that there's a lot of money going into that warning system when there's something that's more effective in your pocket. We just have to train people to.
Just through these last few storms that we've had, there's been a lot of chatter out in my precinct about how are we not being notified about this and where are the sirens? And I take that opportunity to tell them about Everbridge. And it's like, here, sign up. We have a way for you to be notified. So, but people are still thinking that they should be notified through an outdoor siren. So we probably need to do some public information communication.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a public education component to this, no matter what we decide. And we're trying with the outdoor warning sirens, but not knowing whether they're going to stay or not is a little bit of a...
I guess we can't really send out an Everbridge to tell everybody that sirens are going away.
I mean, you could, but I don't know that it'd be wise.
Yeah.
But-
And then there are people who don't have cell phones, so.
Anyways, that's all I have.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, we're.
There are people who don't have internet access. Mhm. Mhm. In Pecan. It's like, no, I don't even have a computer. How do you pay your bills? They do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Judge, there's something I can throw on Margaret real quick. One other thing we were working on with that secondary EOC at the Acton station, we have been hitting up Luminate trying to get them to contribute because basically they pay for that building over in the industrial plant over there that I guess no one knows about. We tried to get them to contribute towards that. We just can't get a hard yes on anybody yet. So there is a possibility that Luminate may contribute some funds towards that secondary EOC. Just as a sidebar.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Good. Okay, Mr. Todd Togo, thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, Road Ops would like to propose the court to consider replacing 2 of our dump trucks. These will be the 8-yard dump trucks. They are, we would be replacing a 2007 and a 2008 dump truck. Both of these trucks that we have currently are somewhere around 190 to 200,000 miles we have on those trucks. Still good trucks, but I feel we need to probably go to replacing these things. These will be fully equipped, beds, tarps, everything. The only thing these trucks would need would be decals. So that would be everything. Also, I'd like for y'all, the court to consider maybe replacing 2 one-ton pickups. These are trucks we usually pull our goosenecks that we have our skid steers and asphalt rollers and everything on. We would be replacing 2 2005 model trucks. These are 20-year-old trucks. They also have somewhere right around 200,000 on both of those trucks. So those, the 1-tons would be fully rigged, flatbeds, grill guards, everything. The only thing they would need would be decals, and then our transfer fuel tanks would come off our old trucks and go on these new ones. But other than that, they would have the underbody toolboxes, grill guards, running boards, everything we would need. So I think with that being said.
Price?
Yes, do y'all have?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at you instead of looking at the screen. Okay.
I started to say I've got hard copies of the quotes. Okay.
Seems like only yesterday and they're 20 years old. Yeah, yeah. Get their own special budget too, don't they? How much do they have in their budget?
Well, we set it with the tax rate. So, it's a great question. Like what we put in.
Left from last year.
Today, it's about $5,004,940, but that includes all the salary culverts, contacting. It doesn't include capital purchases. Right now, we have that centralized in our Fund 55. You do have the opportunity to move those over to each fund if you wish. It's just a matter of how you want to handle that.
Let's see how that looks.
The two dump trucks, 07 and 08, you say they both have a couple 100,000 miles. But what kind of maintenance bill are you looking at right now?
These, in the past, the last few years, there has been quite a little bit of repair cost on these. These are a couple of trucks that we kind of keep for, they're spares, I guess you would say. We always need spares in case we're paving, or something. These are a couple of trucks that we had just dropped down through the years, and we use them at the Pug Mill. They're at 51 property, but yes, sir.
Is there any kind of relevant trade-in value with them if you?
I'm not sure on the trade-in. I didn't have that figured in.
Probably not.
In the past, we've always just, something like this, we'd use Renee Bates or send them to Ritchie Brothers. Had pretty good luck with both when we replaced. So.
Not a significant amount.
I guess where I'm
The
headed.
salvage value.
What it would be?
Yeah.
I'm not for sure exactly what these things would trade in.
Probably the ultimate use for them, though, is
I'll tell you,
backup.
yes, yes.
But I guess my question is headed to this possibility is, and the two 1-tons, they're both diesels, right?
Yes, sir.
If forget trade-ins, but if we got one each this year, and you kept what you got one each next year, that would be helpful, correct?
Well, it'd certainly be helpful.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate anything, But,
okay.
Those, the dump trucks and everything in the past, they've always been pretty sought after, used dump trucks from a county because they know the maintenance has been, kept up and repairs and everything. So usually those things will do pretty good as far as resale.
So I'm really pleased with that 377 through that 8
Yes, yeah. I know. Yes, sir. Yeah, right.
Almost our police road leading up to the land.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
Right.
Boy, that 377 through town.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice.
Boy, it looks good.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to tell everybody that the county robots did that.
So, anything. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Anything else? You bet. Thank y'all.